Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on Oracle technologies. You will hear the latest Oracle tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Hey, what's up? Here is your host Kashif Manzoor, and today is our 7th session. Really, I can't believe this, that we reached to 7th session. Before starting podcast, I was always thinking that it will be very difficult to do a weekly podcast, but we have reached to session number 7. Thank you very much for all your support and an excellent feedback, which is enabling me to work hard on new topics. In today's session, we will cover basic concept of cloud computing. As we all know that nowadays all vendors are talking on the cloud computing, and all major vendors have introduced number of applications that are cloud based, including Oracle has also started number of products as a cloud based products. So let's understand what is cloud computing in this session and the basic characteristics of cloud computing. And then in the second session, that will be next hour session, we will review how the different products are available in the market or what Oracle is offering in the cloud space. So today we will be covering what is cloud computing, what term cloud mean and formal definition of cloud, and what are the characteristics of cloud computing and advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing, or a general awareness about cloud computing, what is available in the market. So as a generally, cloud computing term used to describe a new class of network-based computing that takes place over the internet. So basically it's a step on to form a utility-based computing, or we can say it will be a collection group of integrated and networked hardware, software, and internet infrastructure. And these platform hide the complexity and details of the underlying infrastructure from users and applications by providing very simple graphical interface or API application programming interface to users. Today, some analysts describe cloud computing as nothing more than a recreation of the classic mainframe client-server model, with massive computers powering a professionally managed pool of resources. Others compare the cloud to an electrical grid, the software characterized as a utility that is on demand, pay as you go, and easily scalable, elastic. So this was a just general awareness about the cloud computing. Now let's understand as a formal definition of cloud computing based on National Institute of Standard and Technology. So what they are saying, cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. For example, networks, servers, storage, applications, and services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. This cloud model promotes availability and is composed of 5 essential characteristics, 3 service models, and 4 deployment models. NIST definition has gained support from the users and industry because as NIST description of the essential characteristics, deployment models, and service models that characterize cloud computing. So what are the essential characteristics? On-demand self-service, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measured service, broad network access. And deployment models are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. And service models, public clouds, private clouds, hybrid clouds, and community clouds. Now we will review these different characteristics. Let's first understand what are the essential characteristics of cloud computing. First is on-demand self-service. A consumer can provision computing capabilities such as server time and network storage as needed automatically without requiring human interaction with each service provider. So that's called as on-demand self-service. Broad network access capabilities are available over the network and accessed through standard mechanism that promote use by heterogeneous thin or thick client platforms like mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and workstations. Resource pooling. The provider's computing resources are pooled to serve multiple consumers using a multi-tenant model, with different physical and virtual resources dynamically assigned and reassigned according to consumer demand. Rapid elasticity. Capabilities can be elastically provisioned and released, in some cases automatically, to scale rapidly outward and inward with demand. Measured service. Cloud systems automatically control and optimize resource use by leveraging a metering capability at some level of abstraction appropriate to the type of service. For example, storage, processing, bandwidth, and active user accounts. So these are 5 essential characteristics of cloud computing. Now we will review service models. These are 3 service models are available. One is software as a service, that's called as SaaS. The capability provided to the consumer is to use the provider's application running on a cloud infrastructure. The applications are accessible from various client devices through either a thin client interface such as a web browser, web-based email, or a program interface. The consumer does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure, including network, servers, operating systems, storage, or even individual application capabilities, with the possible exception of limited user-specific application configuration settings. Second service model is platform as a service, that's called as PaaS. The capability provided to the consumer is to deploy onto the cloud infrastructure consumer created or acquired application created using programming languages, libraries, services, and tools supported by the provider. The consumer does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure, including network, servers, operating systems, or storage, but has control over the deployed applications and possibly configuration settings for the application hosting environment. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS. The capability provided to the consumer is to provision processing, storage, networks, and other fundamental computing resources where the consumer is able to deploy and run arbitrary software, which can include operating systems and applications. The consumer does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure but has control over operating systems, storage, and deployed applications, and possibly limited control of select networking components like host firewalls and etc. So that's what we have reviewed as services models in a cloud computing. That's software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. Now we will review what are the deployment models available in cloud computing. Private, number one is private cloud. The cloud infrastructure is a provisioned for exclusive use by a single organization comprising multiple consumers, business units. It may be owned, managed, and operated by the organization or a third party or some combination of them. And it may exist on or off premises. So that's called as private cloud. Second is community cloud. The cloud infrastructure is provisioned for exclusive use by a specific community of consumers from organizations that have shared concerns, for example, mission, security requirements, policy, and compliance concentrations. It may be owned, managed, and operated by one or more of the organizations in the community, or a third party, or some combination of them, or it may exist on or off premises. Third is public cloud. The cloud infrastructure is provisioned for open use by the general public. It may be owned, managed, and operated by a business, academic, or government organization, or some combination of them. It exists on the premises of the cloud provider. So the whoever is the vendor, he is providing these services as a public cloud. Fourth is hybrid cloud. The cloud infrastructure is a composition of two or more distinct cloud infrastructures, for example, private, community, or public, that remain unique entities but are bound together by standardized or proprietary technology that enables data and application portability. Cloud busting for load balancing between clouds. So hybrid cloud is where private or community or public cloud are being used for an organization. So with this, we are done with the deployment models available as a part of cloud computing. That's private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. With this, we are done with the generic definition of what is cloud computing, what are the services models available. Now we will quickly review what are the general opportunities and challenges in the cloud computing. The use of the cloud provides a number of opportunities, what we can say. For example, it enables services to be used without any understanding of their infrastructure. Cloud computing works using economies of scale. It potentially lowers the outlay expense for startup companies, as they would no longer need to buy their own software or servers. And cost would be on demand pricing, so whenever we need it, we will pay for that. Vendors and service providers claim costs by establishing an ongoing revenue system, stream or revenue system. Data and services are stored remotely but accessible from anywhere. In parallel, there has been backlash against cloud computing. This is few of the industry challenges are known. Use of cloud computing means dependence on others, and that cloud possibly limit flexibility and innovation. The others are likely become the bigger internet companies like Oracle, Google, or Amazon, or other companies, and who will dominate the market. Some argue that this use of supercomputer is a return to the time of mainframe computing, that the PC was a reaction against that. Another very valid point on the cloud computing is security. Security could prove to be a big issue for cloud. It is still unclear how safe outsourced data is, and when using this service, ownership of data is not always clear. But now the vendors, whoever is providing the public cloud, they are ensuring all the security standards available in the market. There are also issues relating to policy and access. If your data is stored abroad, whose policy do you adhere to? What happens if the remote server goes down? How will you then access files? There have been cases of users being locked out of accounts and losing access to data. So these are different terms, different questions are in the market on the cloud computing. Now we will quickly review on the advantages of cloud computing. We do understand that it's lower computer costs. We do not need a high powered and high priced computers or servers to run cloud computing's web based applications, because applications run in the cloud, not on the desktop PC. And when we are using a web-based applications, our PC can be less expensive with smaller hard disks, less memory, more efficient processor. Another on the option that if we are using an application, then we don't need to worry about the infrastructure of our applications which we used to buy as a servers to run, operate that application in our environment. Improved performance as another advantage of cloud computing. With few large programs hogging your computer's memory, you will see better performance from your PC. Reduced software costs. Instead of purchasing expensive software applications, you can get most of what you need for free. Most cloud computing applications today are available on a monthly billing or monthly revenue model where you can pay monthly instead of paying as a perpetual licenses to that vendor. And same way, better than paying for similar commercial software, which alone may be justification for switching to a cloud applications. Another advantage on the cloud computing is instant software updates. In the cloud computing, it is not you who is going to be responsible for any update in the software or you need to upgrade the software. It will be vendor's responsibility to ensure that any new version is released for that software, it is upgraded on the cloud computing devices. And whenever you access a web-based application, you get the latest version. On the same way, another unlimited storage capacity. Cloud computing offers virtually limitless storage, and even our computer, we can get whatever we want based on our requirement. Increased data reliability, we can say. Then another is latest version availability. If we are using another software, so whatever as a vendor he will be releasing it, it will be upgraded into the latest version. Now we will see what are the disadvantages of cloud computing which are commonly considered in the market. Requires a constant internet connection. Cloud computing is impossible if you cannot connect to the internet. So that's one of the key disadvantage which is considered nowadays in cloud computing. Since we use the internet to connect to both our application and documents, if we do not have an internet connection, we cannot access anything and even our own documents. A dead internet connection means no work, and in areas where internet connections are few or inherently unreliable, this could be a deal breaker, or this could be a really difficult to sell cloud computing or cloud based softwares or applications in that area. Does not work well with the low speed connections. Similarly, a low speed internet connection such as that found with dial up services or makes cloud computing painful at best and often impossible. Web based applications require a lot of bandwidth to download, as do large documents. Features might be limited on the cloud based applications. The situation is bound to change, but today many web-based applications similarly simply are not as full-featured as their desktop-based applications. So features might be limited. If we are using a cloud-based models or cloud-based applications, maybe we will be forced to use the standard features available in any software. So that can be a limitation on the cloud-based softwares. Stored data might not be secure. With cloud computing, all your data is stored on the cloud. So the question is, how secure is the cloud? Can unauthorized users gain access to your confidential data? Stored data can be lost. Theoretically, data stored in the cloud is safe, replicated across multiple machines, but on the off chance that your data goes missing, you have no physical or local backup. But simply relying on the cloud puts you at risk if the cloud lets you down. General concerns: each cloud system uses different protocols and different APIs. May not be possible to run application between cloud based systems. So many of these activities which we have considered as disadvantages of cloud computing, nowadays with the rapid growth on the cloud computing, all these concerns and disadvantages are addressed by different primary software vendors like Oracle. What we will do in next session, we will review what are the different offerings from Oracle on the cloud and what are the different security and other metrics they are following up to ensure that cloud is secure and reliable for all the offerings. Thank you for listening this session. Let's go to our show notes, and you will find all the information on this session or any reference link available in the show notes. That's otechtalks.tv/session7.
Thanks for listening to the OTech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.